Hello guys and welcome to the Edupedia world. In this tutorial we'll cover the concept of inheritance in Java. Although in our previous tutorial we have already covered what is Java inheritance, what is the use of Java inheritance, is and has a relationship. We have also done an example in the Eclipse IDE and we have also seen the cases where inheritance is not used. We have seen instance of, and in this tutorial we'll start with learning from this and super keyword. So let's begin. Well, sometime a method will need to refer to a object that invoked it. This keyword can be used inside any method refer to the current object. You can also use this keyword for access current class variable and method. For example, you can see we have a class box and we are having two data members, width and height. And then we are having a constructor double width and double height. Where what we are doing is we are using this keyword over here. We are using this dot width equals to width and this dot height equals to height. Now what is the purpose of this keyword? Well, as we have told you, like this keyword is used to refer to the current object. So this dot width means the current object with data member. Similarly, this dot height means the current object's height. So basically what we are doing in this constructor is we are assigning the current object width, and what we are assigning to it? The width that we are passing as a parameter. Similarly, we are assigning the width or the height that we are passing as a parameter to the current object height. So basically this is used to represent to the current object. Okay, so I hope so that you got what's the purpose of using width. And why can't we simply use width equals to width? Well, it will create a ambiguous nature because the compiler will have a difficulty in understanding like which width is there on the left hand side, whether it is the width that we are passing in a parameter or whether it's a width of this current class. So just to make clarify or clarifying it to compiler, we are using this dot width, that means this is the width of the current object. Okay. Super keyword is used to call the parent constructor with no arguments. So whenever we write super with these brackets, that means we are actually calling the constructor of parent class. This can be used also with arguments. For example, super, and then we can pass some argument in this. So that means we are calling a parent class constructor of or with argument. Also, it can be used to call method from parent class. So, for example, super.test method. So, we are calling the test method of super class. Fine. Note, this and super keyword both are not used together because both keywords are the first statement of constructor or method. So, that means you cannot use like super and this uh, at both at the same times in a constructor. The reason is because both are actually the first statement of constructor. So either it is like, what happens in case of default constructor that compiler gives you. Implicitly, although you don't write it yourself, but implicitly there is a call to super constructor. So although you never actually write super with yourself, but there is an implicit call, so that means the super constructor get called. So if there are two classes and uh, you are calling you're creating an object of base class, then the constructor of super class will automatically get called. So there is an implicit call to super constructor. So you can say implicitly super is written in your code, although you don't write it yourself. So that's why you cannot have super in this both, because super is like the first call. So this means the current object. So if you are doing this, then you are referring to this. But if you are using super, that means you are referring to the super class. So both cannot come simultaneously. Okay, so yeah, we do have some topics about constructor and inheritance. So there's a linking between the two, and let's see what it says. Every constructor has its first statement either an call to overloaded constructor, that means this, or a call to super constructor, that is super. Although remember that this call can be inserted by the compiler. So it can be inserted by the compiler. You need not write it yourself. So what happens is whenever you have multiple constructors in your class, so you can call the overloaded constructor by calling this. Fine. And you can also call a super constructor if there is a base class calling super. So this is the purpose of this and super in inheritance and how it can be used in constructors. Fine, so we'll see examples of this shortly. If you do type in a constructor as opposed to relying on compiler generated default constructor, and you do not type in the call to super or call this, the compiler will insert the no argument call to super for you. So even if you are not writing, the compiler will insert it at the very first statement. So either it will, compiler will insert, like compiler will simply insert super. So if you have, manually written this, then the compiler will not insert anything because you are calling this. That means you are calling the overloaded constructor of same class. But if you haven't written anything, then the compiler will insert super for you. Fine. A call to super can either be no argument call or can include arguments, as we have already discussed. You cannot make a call to instance method or access the instance variable until after super constructor runs. So let's say you want to make a call to some method from a constructor. You cannot do that until super constructor runs. Well, you can do that, but before that the super constructor must run. Okay. Only static variable and method can be accessed as a part of call to super or this. Example, like we are having super. Inside a super, you are sending animal dot name. So name over here is a static variable or a static data member of animal class. So if you want to send anything as a parameter, then like if you're sending like animal dot name, it is okay. That is because name is declared as a static variable. So if we are going to send any of a method or a variable of a class, then it has to be static if you are sending it as a call to super or this. Fine. So okay, we do have why does not support multiple inheritance. Why do you think Java does not support multiple inheritance? Well, this will is saying that Java is simple object oriented, distributed, and so. And in order to enforce simplicity, well, definitely in order to enforce simplicity. But why multiple inheritance is removed from Java, although it was there in C and C++, or rather C++? Well, the reason is because of a diamond problem. So what is the diamond problem? Well, diamond problem says that, let's say if we are having a class, let's say animal, and there are two classes, dog and cat. Both of these classes extends class animal, and as we have already seen, like there is a method which is make sound. Okay. Now my class dog extends animal and it also extends another class which is mammal. Fine. Now my class animal is having a method make sound. My class mammal is also having a method make sound. And now my dog need to call that method. So how will it decide which method to call? Should it call the method of animal or should it call the method of mammal? Well, that's the problem because it's actually decided at runtime. So you cannot, if you do dogs object dot make sound, then how will compiler decide which one to call, which inherited method to call? Because it is inheriting both the methods and both the methods are exactly same. So this will give you a diamond problem. That means the diamond will actually eventually virtually get formed and you will not be able to decide, the compiler will not be able to decide which make sound to call. So that's why Java does not support multiple inheritance. Okay, I hope so that's clear. Now let's quickly do an example where I will show you the use of or the benefits of super in this in a constructor using inheritance. So let's do that. Okay guys, so this is an example. Well, before super and this, I'm going to show you this example and it will clarify some of your doubts. So let's do that. Okay, over here we do have a class alpha and we have a static string s in that, and the string doesn't contain anything. Then we have a constructor of alpha. We have a protected constructor of alpha. Fine. And this in this protected constructor of alpha, we are doing s plus equals to alpha. So actually it is, adding or concatenating alpha to s. Fine. Then we have another class sub alpha which extends alpha. So it is extending this class. Okay. And what it is doing is it is having a private constructor of sub alpha. S is equal to S plus sub. Okay. So do you remember what's the purpose of private constructor? Well, it doesn't allow the creation of object for this class sub alpha. So this will restrict it. Okay. Now let's come to this class. We have another class sub alpha and it is extending the class alpha. So basically it is extending the class alpha, which is this. Fine. It is having again a private constructor. So it is having a constructor sub alpha, and inside a private constructor we are doing s is equal to s sub. Fine. I hope so it's clear by now. Then we have public static void main method. Inside the public static void method we are creating an object of sub alpha equals to new sub alpha. Okay, so is it possible to do that? Well, it is possible because we are creating this object within this class. And as we have seen, like private access modifier provide a access within a same class. So it is fine to create an object within the class sub alpha. So up till this line, it's absolutely fine. Now let's see over here. What we are doing is we are printing the value of s. What do you think will be the value of s? Well, let's run this code. So the value of s is alpha sub. Why do you think it is so? Well, that's because when you created the object sub alpha, then although the constructor is private, but it will get called because we are creating an object in the same class. And whenever a constructor gets called, as we have read, there is an implicit call to the super constructor. So what will be the super constructor of sub alpha? Well, it is extending alpha, so the constructor alpha will be called. So since it's a protected constructor, so there is no issue. It can be called, and what it will do, it will append alpha to s. So now the value of s has become alpha. After the call of super constructor has finished, then the call, whatever is written within the constructor of sub alpha will be executed. So what it is doing, it is appending sub to s. So now s will become alpha sub. That's why the value of s is alpha sub. Okay. Let me modify a little. Let me extend sub alpha instead of alpha. What do you think this will give us? Well, you can say over here we are getting an error, and what this error says, implicit super constructor sub alpha is not visible, must explicitly invoke another constructor. Why is it so? Because the constructor sub alpha is private and it is not able to see the private constructor. So the constructor either has to be, public default or private. It cannot, public default or protected. It cannot be private because it is having issues because and the private constructor is not visible to this class. Fine, and it is also saying, it must explicitly invoke another constructor. So let's try doing that. Okay, can I do this? Can I, explicitly try calling it? Well, again, it will give us this error because I'm sorry, I just wrote it in wrong place. Let me do it over here. Fine. Now see, again it's giving me error because it's saying change the visibility of sub alpha to protected. Why? Because even if you are explicitly calling it, it will still give you an error till you have a correct access modifier associated with it. Now let me make it public. Well, now it's happy. It's not giving me any error because it can call. Fine. Now let me just do one more thing. Let me, make it parameterized constructor. Let me just pass like int any variable int a. What do you think will happen? Well, over here, the call to super is giving us an error. Okay, let me comment it out or let me remove it out. Again, I'm getting an error. This error says implicit superconstructor sub alpha is identified. Why so? Because as I have told you, like each and every constructor actually calls the superconstructor. So sub alpha is actually trying to find the superconstructor of sub alpha, and it is only will be trying to find the no argument, that is the default constructor. But in this class we are not having any default constructor, and since we are having a parameterized constructor, so the default constructor is overridden. So even the implicit default constructor that compiler provide is now not available because we have overridden. So what we can do is to correct it, we can include one more constructor, that is public sub alpha. Fine, now this will resolve our problem because now it is able to find a default constructor. Okay, what if this constructor is not over here and still we want to, work it out, how we can do that? Let's try to call super. Let's call super over here with some parameter. Let me pass 4. Okay, so now it says, okay, let me just, yeah, now it's fine. I have called super by passing a argument to it. So what it is happening is basically I have overridden the call of calling the default super. So that's why I'm passing a parameterized super so that it can find this constructor. So now it's absolutely fine with it. So now if I try to run it, it will give me alpha sub alpha because firstly what happened is um, this constructor tried to call the super constructor, that is this one, and now this constructor is again extending alpha, so it will call this constructor. So firstly alpha is appended, after that sub is appended, and lastly sub is appended. I hope so you got the concept. And now let me see whether I can use this. So let me just create another constructor over here. Fine, and let me remove the argument. Why is it giving me an error? Let me check. It's saying set method return type. Well, it's a constructor. Okay, yeah, the spelling was incorrect. Now it's fine. Now if I try to run it, what will happen? Well, it's saying alpha and sub. It hasn't appended this sub. Why so? Because it's a parameterized constructor. What if I want to append this? No problem. Let's call this. And since it's a parameterized constructor, I need to pass some parameter. So I'm passing 4. Okay, now let me call this. Now it's okay. We are getting alpha sub. So what is happening is firstly this constructor is calling the super constructor. Even if I comment this, then also it will call the super constructor because it's implicitly done. Fine. So it's calling the super constructor, that is it is calling this constructor. And this constructor is calling the overloaded parameterized constructor using this keyword. So this keyword is used and it is calling this method or this constructor. Now this constructor is actually now calling this thing. So now it is calling the super constructor of its own class. So you can see the output is alpha sub sub. So firstly, what happens, like this constructor is called, and then the output of this constructor is appended, and finally the output of this constructor is appended. And as we have seen, we cannot mention super and this in the same constructor. So if we try to do that, it will give us an error. Fine. So we can just place either this or super. So I hope the concept of this and super with inheritance is clear. So, well, there is one more example that I would like to cover in this tutorial. So let's see this one. There's a class animal, and then we have a default constructor of animal, and we also have a parameterized constructor of animal. Okay, no problem up till now. Then we have a class horse. It is extending animal. Fine. And then we are having a constructor of horse, and then we are having this super keyword in this. Okay, so over here we are having a class. What do you think will happen if I don't have this? Well, it will give me an error, as we have seen in our previous example that the call to super must have a default constructor. Fine, so that was about this example. There is one more example below, so let's go through that one also. Mm, yeah, so let's see over here. We are having a class dog, fine, and then I'm having a class hound. It is extending the class dog, fine. And now I have a method in this which is void sniff. Okay, I have another method which is void bark. Let me have this bark method over here as well. So I'm having a bark method in dog, I'm having a bark method in hound, which is overriding this method. Fine. Now I'm having a class constructor example, then I'm having public static void main method. Inside the main method, I'm creating an object of class hound. Hound h equals to new hound. Fine, I hope that's absolutely fine. Now, I'm doing in the next line, dog d is equal to new hound. So in this case, what I'm doing is basically my reference is of dog, but I'm creating an object of hound, which is fine. Why so? Because the reference of supertype can contain an object of subtype. Okay, I'm just going to write that down over here again just to clarify. The reference of supertype can contain object of subtype. Well, vice versa is not true. Just always remember, reference of only supertype can contain an object of subtype, not vice versa, never vice versa. Fine. So we have created an object of hound with the reference dog. So D is created. Fine. Now what I am doing is with the hound object I am calling bark. H dot bark. Fine. So which bark method do you think it will call? Well, I think it will call the hound's bark because H is the object of hound. Okay, so this will call. After that, over here, what I'm doing is I'm calling D dot bark, but I am, casting it to hound. Which method do you think it will call? Well, again, it will call this method because I'm casting it to hound. Fine. I'm calling sniff method of hound, which is perfectly fine. Now let me try to call sniff. Oh, you can see I'm not able to call sniff with the object dy. So although like the object that I have created is of hound, but it is still having the reference of d. So in order to call sniff, the object that is the class dog should have that method sniff. Okay. So that's why I won't be able to call sniff with d. So that was about this example. I hope so that you have enjoyed it. Okay guys, so thank you as of now. Let's meet in the next tutorial.